Good day to you. Hope you're all doing good. This video shows how I made this thing out of this lot. It's all bits and pieces, scrap wood, offcuts, some out the skip, I know. Some bits of brassware as well, some offcuts and some I had to buy. I know, it's terrible. This video is all made up of my shorts videos, all chopped up, so you can watch them from start to finish. It was a bit of a trial because I was designing it as I went along, which is not always a good thing. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, give it a like. And also, if you really like it, you can subscribe. It costs nothing. And I think I started with these walnut offcuts from an old staircase. Cheers. Right, this is how far I got so far. As you can see, there's two lots of walnut, and in the middle of that is maple. I put an angle on this because I didn't know how I was going to finish the front. Old traditional caravans, they used to have spindles going all the way along there, and they would keep their chickens in there. On the front there's going to be that piece, and that's going to have a door cut in it, and then that shape, that kind of pear-shaped thing. Right, these are spindly bits for down the side of the caravan. Rather than risk my fingers and splinters and anything else, I've taped them together, and you can see I put a mark on, so as long as you tape where the mark's going to be your cut, then it should stay together. Make sure the ends are flush and flat, or else you get them all cut at all different angles. Where'd they all go then? I have made a cock-up. I've cut that down so it finishes nice there. It's supposed to come up round there and then back down again. And obviously I've cut it straight both sides because I'm stupid. But I have one more of these, so I should be able to do it properly this time because they obviously got to be matching. I've also put the flooring in there, sand it lightly so it doesn't splinter little fingers. So that's it. I need to work out the shape now that's going on the front and the back. Trying to get the proportions right for this like roof hoop. Let's call it a roof hoop. I'm sure there's a proper word for it. I was going on the outside to get the maximum, but it looks like a mushroom. So what I've done is gone from there, use the old bit of string thing, and then go completely around there, and then back to there. But then that makes this too long. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut that on the bandsaw and then just see what it's like. In other words, go to the wife and see what she thinks. She agrees that it is too long. It will all be in proportion. The trouble is, what I've got to do now is try and cut off this in the right place so I keep them so I don't look silly. Right, modifications. I've hacked the end off. I've hacked that much off, about 85mm. And I've cut it so it looks like it's supposed to have been finished there. The angles that are on the front of them, I've hacked off. It was just complicated things with this front. Hopefully it should be in proportion. With what, I don't know because I'm making it up as I go along. And that's going to be the door size. I'm going to cut that out. I might try and make a split stable door. That's the ends cut. I've just got to do a bit more fettling to make them look a bit prettier. The idea is to use these to anchor themselves to the frame, and then it should keep it all nice and square. Well, these two are offcuts from the side pieces here. And what I wanted to do is use them, try and cut down there and use them as a return. Right, still got my fingers. It was a bit touch and go. I'll give it a nice sand up. So what I'm going to try and do is glue that directly onto there. What I might try and do is to give it extra strength is get some dowels and put the dowel through into the actual end grain itself.
pick apart all the pieces and never let them go. Hide it in your soul. Above it all.
I'm going to need to make some kind of jiggy thingy to make sure that I drill in that it's dead straight. Right, I've decided I'm going to try and make a jig. On the handhold I've bolted through there, solid 12mm solid laminate, and they make them for like toilets and shower blocks in school. So a very kind person give me lots of offcuts, so, and it's nice and slidey as well. I'll have 2 rails going down the side, but I thought I'll let you see how I would make it anyway. There's a lot of working out to do yet. I think I've got it. I'm not quite sure. We'll find out. Now this nut here, so it goes up and down. That one goes on there, and then the wheel goes on there, and adjust for the different size wheels there. That is square to that, or should be. So that's it. I'll give it a go and see if it actually works. Right, I've made a little window for the back. There's a little sill on there as well. And I thought it'd be simple, rather than have a square one, it'd be nice to have a circular window. Just bring it out so it's more oval shaped to kind of maybe accentuate that. Maybe I'll do it on purpose. So I've cut the piano hinge. So what I'm going to try and do is fix that hole all the way down there. Somehow fix it into the frame. And then cut the door in half so you get the split door. Just to show you that I actually did try it with the old stable door. I don't like it. It's too weak. I mean, it does work and it works quite well, but the flex on that is way too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it back to where it was. But rather than save me doing all this again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that piece in there so it's back to one piece. But it also looks then like it's a stable door rather than it being a stable door. For the step in, I've just made a simple beach block and rounded everything off. And the idea, same again, is to drill some holes for the, and I'm going to use these as like wooden pegs again, go all the way through into the frame. Well, that's 130 mil. I don't think it looks too bad, considering what it's going to be by the time you've got all the canvas on and the front. So I think that would be all right. You have the back wheels are bigger, because the bottom ones are going to be smaller because they've got to go underneath the carriage. To get these wheel proportions right, they're 130 mils. This is one of the old wheels, and that's 95, I think. The trouble is, I need that to be underneath so they're able to steer. No, I should jack this up a bit more. The only other thing, I suppose, is that we can make a smaller wheel, and that looks stupid. Well, that don't look too bad, does it? I'm only going to do it. It gives me a chance to get like a carriage underneath. Maybe I should have done some spare one. I think everything now lines through. So I've got my drill bit to where my first spoke is going to be. That's the idea. I am also centre of the wheel that way. What I don't want is this drill bit to either go one way or the other. So I've got the shorter one that should be just enough for this wheel. You're going to have to make the hub a bit bigger, 1 3/4 inch, which is 44 mil in new money. Right, this hub is a little bit bigger. Using this jig, I've got top written up there, so I know that's the top. It's just to make sure that I know which one goes to which. Put a little arrow on the top there just to let me know. Mark around these points where my spindles are going, and then when I've done that all the way around, then what I'll do is put them on there and then just use this square. Then I know they're going to be upright. Consistent way of doing it. On this piece of wood here, I've got a centre line on there, and then all I do is line up my line on the hub, drill the hole, which drills that on, and then I just move it around to the next one. I've just changed it over, so I've got this like centre point drill bit, and I'm going to see if that's more consistent with the holes rather than a normal HSS bit, which tend to wander all over the place. Using that centre point drill bit is more consistent. That is much better. I now know that I've got to cut the wheel out, round it all, then I can drill the holes, and then it can carry on from there. I like to show the cock-ups and all. You start at one end, just keep going round and round and round, I suppose. Let's just see if it's deflected at all. It's a little bit, but gives it character when it's wobbling down the road. That's the size of the back wheels, and then that's the size of the front wheels. Same again, I'm going to use the 6mm spokes so they match. I've had to make the hub a little bit bigger. It just falls apart if I don't. I think for the first couple that I put in, it's best to do it in the jig. And then after that, it's better to just pick it up, and then you can put the glue in, and gravity takes the glue down, and then it's not so messy. But for the first couple, you really make sure that that's in the centre, and all my marks line up, because I can see the lines underneath the greaseproof paper. Should drag the glue with it. Right, that's the 2 wheels done. I'll let those go off first before I start cutting the ends and bits and pieces off. Whilst the wheels are drying, I thought I'd try and have a look to see where to put the axle so it looks nice, and also because these front wheels are smaller and they're also going to be steerable on an axle, that's going to have a piece over the top so it's sealed in, the bar can't come out, and that's going to go underneath and be able to swivel. I'm going to try and press fit these in there. Hopefully that is the wheels finished then. Smaller ones I'll put in a clamp, but these bigger ones I'll have to use a clamp. Yes, it's worked out for once. To get this all nice and level, and to get the gap underneath the wheel, between the wheel and the frame, because remember this one's going to be steerable, it's taken me ages. I've had to do quite a bit of jiggery pokery work underneath with packers and bits of wood and stuff. That's going to be underneath, and I'm going to have a rod coming out of there, so for that to swivel on. I think I worked out how to do the pivot. I've got my pivot block, and then what I've done, I've drilled a hole in the middle, and I've also threaded it. And the idea is to get some of your finest JB weld, and actually JB weld it in and thread it all the way in. First the thread goes in, then the bushing, and then a 10mm brass washer, and then it goes in to the pivot block. There's a small gap where the brass washer and the brass bushing are rubbing against each other, so there's no wood being worn away. As you can see, I've done 4 holes in the top. Same again, I don't want any metal fixings, so I'm going to use some 4mm dowel. I'm using a toothpick so I can get right down to the threads. Get this one straight. Whilst I'm doing it, I might as well put some JB weld on these nuts to keep the nuts there. Little people can't undo the nut. Decide it looks like a sweetie. Clean off any excess on there as well. Right, I've just stuck some JB weld on there as well, and that's the locking nut. Hopefully that won't stick to the glue, and that should be it. Hopefully. Right, what I've done, I've now all the glue's held on the nuts. So but I decided it looked a bit too neat. So I don't know if you can see that, but I got me Dremel and started to take off bits and pieces. What I need to do is I'm putting some steps that go down the side on the front. So what I'm going to do is cut out that section, and put some steps going down or going up. I'm going to put a pin all the way through, and the steps can go fold up and down. Because of a slight miscalculation, I've had to put these packers, they're 5mm packers, because it was 5mm out of level, because I'm stupid. Front bit's easy because the block just pushes up against the step. Stand her up and then start marking out where the treads are. Off camera, I have made a little set of steps. I used some Padook for the steps, and also this wood here is called Kiat. And then all I did was dowel the ends and that and glue them, and that's it. I should have made this bottom step, I should have made them all a bit lower, because the top step's too close to that really. I was trying to work out how I was going to connect the actual box to the bar that comes out, so you can either connect it to a horse or what I thought would be a better option was to come out and have a handle on it so she can pull it along. And it just so happens that they found in my stores, this is off a fire door closer, an overhead fire door closer, and that happens to be nice and brassy. And I was going to fit it to the bottom, but I needed something that was going to be able to lift up and down at the same time as closing up. Just so happens that I found a hinge also in my gubbins box where the holes line up exactly. The idea is to drop some brass machine screws through there and put some dome nuts on the ends, and that should be it. Right, when you fit these overhead door closers, there just happens to be threaded holes there which you need to use when you're fitting the overhead door closer, so it comes in handy. It's 5mm, and these bolts just happen to be the right length to fit through the axle bar and come out the back, and then also so I can fit an M5 domed nut. Right, it's time to get some oil on it. I'm using the walrus oil, cutting board oil. You're supposed to put it on with your hands. I did the other one, but seems a bit weird, doesn't it? You won't want to be wearing your Sunday best when you do this. In some of the fiddly bits, I've used a brush to get behind there. You've got to buff all this off. I'm going to give the door another coat. This is the bed that's going in the Caravan. It's a single bed. There'll be no hanky-panky in this Caravan.
No way to throw it all.
For the problem, now I've got these steps on, they're really nice, worked out quite nice. But the problem is, I was going to have just one bar coming from the front of the Caravan, and then you can steer it. When you're stood up, obviously the bar comes up and comes down. When it's finished, it just sit down on the floor. But now I've got those down there, I can't have just one bar coming out. What I'm going to try and do is have a bar going across my hinge, and then a wooden bar going across, and then 2 bars coming out, so which looks more traditional because it goes around a horse. After many hours of buffing, she's come up really nice. And the little bits and pieces down here. And also, I've got to JB weld all the little bolts, the nuts and bolts.
There are times when everything feels great.
There's the hinge I'll put on there. And to that I'm going to fix this walnut bar that goes across. Going to be some dome nuts coming through there. And at this end is going to be the handle. I've got to thread the ends. Well, I've finished the handle, the pull along handle, and for the horsey tongue. I think it's called a tongue, not really sure. I'm leaving that off at the moment because I've got to start doing some stuff to this to hold my canvas into the shape I want. I'm going to scallop out these bits I've marked on there. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to glue 2 bits of canvas together with the rod in the middle. As you can see, the rod's in the middle. These are the rods. Got some cylindrical magnets, and I'm going to be drilling them into the scallop bit. There you can see I've marked. I used a piece of paper to mark them out to follow I might use a Dremel, see where that shape's going. So the idea is it goes into the others, and then the magnetics hold it there, and then you just peel it back. It's going to be fitted to that bar, so it rolls backwards on there. They've got to be in there really good, because if you think they're being pulled every time they're being pulled out. Let me have a think. JB Weld then. Right, that's it with all the holes drilled. No disasters, which is a good thing. These bars are already cut to length. I'll put some little rubber caps on the end, so once its material is folded over and glued, it's not going to try and tear through. I'm now going to glue the magnets in. Time to put the canvas on the Romany Caravan. I've got some different glues and bits and pieces. I'm going to try and mitre bond the first bar onto the canvas. Then it should be, I'll carry on around. The whole idea is to have it folded over at the ends, either end. I'm going to let that go off till it gets a little bit tacky. It's going to go on there for a while, just to keep the canvas fixed this side. What I've done is found a nice bit of brass bar, 10mm, brass screws to screw it down. And then that keeps that there. By the time that wraps around, it's got a nice finish on there. It's all now glued down with super gluey stuff, Mitre Bond. Pretty much touch dry. Made a bit of a schoolboy error. This sheet that's going on top was supposed to go underneath this strip here and underneath that strip there. So what I'm going to do now is I'll cut it a little bit shorter away from there. I'm going to cut a strip off the offcut, fold, glue it round. I've only got to finish it, haven't I? It's only taken a day or two. I know. A bit more maybe. I have finished putting the canvas on. Horrible canvas, really. It's stained. It's done everything that you didn't want to do. It's done it. It's actually shrunk as well. For one bar is slightly off anyway. We still haven't found a little horse to go on, to put that on there. We're still searching for one. Fitted the door. I tried to work out how many different types of wood I used on making this. It's all scrap, or offcuts, or even out of a skip, some of it. So we've got walnut, tulip on the frame, beech, cedar bits all over the place really, paduk for the steps, kiat, which is the strings for the steps, oak, the wheels and the door actually, pallet wood for the actual base, the floor caravan, maple all down the sides underneath the spindles, sapele on the back there, that's sapele, that is as well, bits and pieces everywhere really. I fitted a brass bar on the side, and then all you do is just roll it back, and then it allows you to get in, and that's it. I was going to, after gluing it, I was going to get it all stitched in the end because the glue was really good. But I'd just like to thank the people who offered to stitch it for me, and I thank you. You might be needed in the future. I'd just like to thank people for liking or subscribing or commenting. Most of them nice. Till the next one. Cheers.
Deceiving. Are you fine?